Greetings, students. This is Dr. Schafer, and I am creating this introductory video to tell you a little bit about myself, a little bit more than what I put in that introduction post on Brightspace, to say a little bit about the class, but mainly to talk about what you can do to have the best experience and to succeed in this class. Okay? So I am coming to you in my makeshift office in my temporary apartment. I think I mentioned in my introduction post that my family is having a major renovation of our house right now. So we're actually living right next door in an apartment next door to where we live in the historic 7th Ward in New Orleans. And this is my office. It's not the most attractive space in the world, but it'll do. I wanted to tell you that I've been at Xavier. This is gonna be my 24th year coming up. I started in the fall of 1999, and it was my first gig straight out of graduate school, and I've been here ever since, and I love it. And I'm really looking forward to teaching this class. Let me say this about the class. If you're watching this video, then you have been on Brightspace, because that's where I'm posting it. But I just want to make sure that the place that you start when you start to dig a little bit deeper into the class is the Start Here tab in the content area of Brightspace. If you go there, you'll get all the information that you need to get started with the class. And then what you're going to want to do eventually is to navigate to the content page for each week of the class. And right now I've posted the week 1 content page. So all of the assignments are there, and all of the materials that you need, including the reading, the philosophy of life survey that some of you have already taken. All of that stuff is there in the week 1 content area. But make sure that you check out the Start Here tab first, because that will give you an overview of all of the important features of the class. Okay, so the main thing that I wanted to talk about in this introductory video is how to maximize your chances to succeed in this class. So this is all really fresh in my mind, because I'm just finishing my summer 1 courses, and so I'm really familiar with where students typically struggle in a summer fully online asynchronous class like this. And I think the main advice that I could give you is that in order to succeed in this class, you're going to need to keep up with all of the assignments. And that means basically, checking in on Brightspace every day, making sure that, that you look at all of the assignments that are posted each week, and however you, organize your work, making sure that you're aware that there are discussion board posts that are due on Tuesday, and there's a short writing assignment that's due on Thursday, and there's a reading that you need to do, and there's an audio lecture that you need to listen to. I think that by far the biggest downfall that students have in an online class, and especially a summer online class where everything is super compressed, think about it. We're doing basically 15 weeks worth of work in only 5 weeks. So you really can't let up. You've got to stay focused. You've got to be aware of all of the assignments. And I've tried to make that easy for you to do by setting things up on Brightspace in a way that is easy to use and that is very straightforward. Okay. Secondly, what I want to emphasize, so the first point is basically to keep up. Be aware of all the assignments. Keep up with the assignments. Be aware of deadlines. The second thing I want to emphasize is that you cannot succeed in this class without doing the readings. I think it is probably the case in some classes that you take in college that you don't really need to do the readings, that you can somehow access the information in some other way. But this class is not like this. It is not like that. We're going to be walking through a series of primary source readings in philosophy. And what I mean by primary source is, I mean texts that were written by actual philosophers, and not just sort of textbook information that is presented to you in a way that is maybe a little bit more, a little bit simpler to digest. So you're actually going to be reading Plato. You're actually going to be reading Epictetus, who's our Stoic philosopher. You'll be reading Epicurus, who's our hedonist philosopher. You'll be reading two different existentialist philosophers, and so on. So make sure you get those books. There's information on Brightspace about that. There are some texts that you need to acquire on your own for this class, and there are some materials, including what we're going to use for the first week, that I will supply. But the bottom line is that you got to do the readings, okay, and make sure you get the right text so that you're doing the right readings. And then the last thing that I want to emphasize here is the value of the discussion board. So the way that I conceive of the discussion board for this class is that this takes the place of discussions that we would have in class, where I might ask a question, and then one of the students in the class answers the question, and then I follow up on that and say that here's another point that you need to consider in order to have a full understanding of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend a lot of time responding to discussion board posts online, and I highly recommend that you don't take a post and leave approach to the discussion board, but rather you post and then come back. And if you have posted early in the discussion board, then chances are I will have responded to your post, and I might just say, that your post is helpful or it's insightful. But I also might point out that there's a misunderstanding, or that there's something that is incomplete, or something that could be added to give a broader, deeper understanding of whatever that discussion board topic is. Also, remember that discussion board posts for this class are free points. And what I mean by that is that I'm not going to grade the content of your discussion board posts. All I'm going to do is look to see that you've followed the rules, right? That each one of your required posts is at least 4 sentences long, that it's on the topic, and so on. And as long as you do that, you will get the points. So those are basically free points. So, going back to my original point of keep up, make sure that you're aware of deadlines. Don't miss any discussion board deadlines, because if you miss those, then you'll miss those free points. So at the end of the semester, the way that the grade will be determined for this class is that 25% of your grade will come from those free points, right? Those discussion board posts. 25% of your grade will come from quizzes. 25% will come from the short writings that you're going to do. And then a final 25% will come from the critical essay that you'll write at the very end of the class. So there's 4 grade categories. Your average in each of those categories will count for 25% of the grade. So it's a pretty simple grade formula. But 25% of those points are free points. And so everyone in the class ought to get 100% in that area. And all you've got to do is to make sure that you stay on top of the deadlines and that you do the posts. Okay, so that's all that I wanted to say. Best wishes for a successful semester. I hope you get a lot out of the class, and I will see you in cyberspace.